I'm going to be introducing Cindy Bruskinski, and this is her icebreaker, as we like to welcome to the club. The title of her speech is Navigating the Potholes of Equality. As Thomas Jefferson once said, all men are created equal. We have the expectation of equal rights under the law. However, the expectation of equal equality is not as clear when it comes to our private and professional path. Have you ever thought, all things being equal, I would have gotten that job, that promotion, or that recognition? Cindy experienced this paradox early in life, faced with the conventional differences between genders. I'm pleased to introduce Cindy Bruskinski, who will highlight some of the experiences that have influenced her chosen path. Cindy?
I'm going to start off by saying I'm a difficult person. And I also, separate from Pilar, I work with all men. So I'm at the other end of the spectrum. I'm not going to say it's any easier, just different. So the title of my speech today, topic is Navigating the Potholes of Equality. I grew up born and raised in Michigan, so potholes are a common part of the system there in the roads. So if you haven't hit a pothole in Michigan, you probably didn't drive that day. So I use that as a metaphor for my life as a pothole. Sometimes it's a small pothole, get your attention, but you're going straight ahead. There are other times you've got a huge pothole, you gotta grab the steering wheel, you gotta get back on track, your alignment may be off. Next day you may decide, I'm taking a whole different route. That's just not gonna work anymore. So that's really what I use as a metaphor and how I look at my life and all the potholes that I've had to maneuver through and around over the course of the years. So I grew up in a prototypical middle-class conservative town, and a few things in my life have impacted me, probably the most, and what stands out. I recently had a conversation through a volunteer organization I'm involved with, talking about our past, talking about school, worst teacher, worst circumstance, worst event, and this is one of mine. So we were talking about some of the things that impacted our direction in life. So I'm 16, in high school, and art is one of my passions. Still is to this day. Painting, drawing, whatever it can be. So I wanted to take drafting. I thought that would be interesting. It's in my line of interest and passion. I had to be very good at it. So I was told I couldn't take drafting because I was a girl. And the boys took drafting. I didn't understand it. I went to my parents, went to the principal, went to the teacher, caused this whole uproar. And finally they said, you can't. You're a girl, you have to take child development.
What?
I'm like, well, I babysit. That's about all this child development I care to hear about at 16. So I'm in child development, sitting in the back, listening to the teacher, and somewhere towards the end of the semester, she gets up to start a lecture. And she says to us, 93% of you will be married by the time you're 20. You're going to marry somebody from your neighborhood. You're going to live 2 to 5 miles from your parents. And you're going to have 4 children. And I went, holy crap, nobody told me this. You know, I'm sitting, talk about repining. So I'm sitting in the back of the class and I don't care what it takes. I'm going to be that 7%. I'm going to plan for it. I got to get out of here before I'm 20. This is a death, you know, to me it was a death sentence at 16. So I went ahead and I put my plan in action. I worked 2 jobs, saved my money. When I was 19 and a half, countdown started. I had 6 months to get out of Dodge. So I took my $1,000 and all my worldly intelligence and drove to California. I figured I'm getting as far away from the Midwest and anybody I know as possible. So that's how I ended up in California. To say it was traumatic, I don't know, but I'm still single today. So that was the worst teacher and the worst experience at school I've ever had. My child development responsibilities include 2 dogs and 2 cats. So it's litter boxes and poop bags. We do very well together and we have a very happy life. The next part of my journey, once I got to California, was more in the realms of the professional. 1980s, early 80s, the construction boom was going on in Orange County. I went ahead and got a job with an interior design firm. Fabulous position for me with the creative side of things. Along through the 80s, the residential market slowed down. I moved on to commercial, retail, restaurant work, and just, continue to progress along those lines. The hard part for me, though, was that I wasn't able to move out of an administrative role or title, even though I took on the responsibilities beyond that. I was in a large development firm in Laguna Niguel, and said I'd been doing project management work for 3 years and wanted the title. The vice president said we can't do that. We have a policy, we don't promote women above administrative in the construction department. And I'm doing the work, doesn't matter. So I thought, okay, well, don't ever tell me no. Don't ever tell me it's not gonna happen, because I'm gonna make it happen. So I left about 2 months later, telling him that I was gonna see him later in life. He was gonna be asking me for a job, and then we would talk. So I went ahead and left and progressed through my career, selling myself. It took a while before I actually got the recognition that I deserved. And through the hard times in the 80s, into the 90s with the economy, I would sell myself. I'd go into an office with an interview and say, listen, you're gonna pay me half what you're paying the guy. I already know that up front. But I can also do my own typing, and I'll help out the county. But give me the experience to do the job so that I can progress through life. And that's how it was. And I worked my way all the way through to where I am today, which is the top performer for CBS the last 5 years. 7 years before that, I was, 6 of the 7 years before that, I was the top performer for a Tim Hortons restaurant chain. So I've done very well, and I'm ready to move on to the next step, which is where I'm headed. So in closing, I'd like to close with a quote from another influential president. Always bear in mind that your own resolution to success is more important than any one other thing. Thank you.